Good morning, Peter. Good morning to the whole of Ibadan. Well, just as you said, surely I'm tired because I stepped out of the home. That's by 7 a.m. yesterday just to get back around around 11 p.m. But it was just for a great cause. The 22nd edition of the National Sports Festival that is going on here in Abeokuta, capital of Ogun State. Well, it had that people from all walks of life in attendance, and it's definitely a great show of cultural heritage, also like a sportsman behavior from everyone within the state. But the highlight started yesterday from the games that began yesterday. I know all attentions were on the opening ceremony, but we had some games that go down yesterday also, and medals already has been racked up by that's a few athletes, where Oyo State is also included in those who have won that medals at its ongoing edition of the National Sports Festival.
All right. Okay. So Sammy is that's a good way to start. Let me start with, for me, it has to do with give us a picture of how colorful the event was yesterday.
Well, very, very colorful. If you want me to start from the entertainment scene, I would start from that because the lead act yesterday was David Adeleke. That's Davido. He was in attendance and also performed. And then talk about Bukola Elemide, also known as Asha. She gave a wonderful rendition of the national anthem and also the Ogun State anthem, the Ishaya anthem. And then you talk about those who were in attendance also. Yes, you say this is their job, but they had to be in attendance. The NSC, that's a chairman, Shehu Diko. You had Bukola Olakwade also in attendance, surely. And then talk about dignitaries, kings. These people were in attendance as well. And then you talk about those who were in attendance, the likes of who that's Charles Soludo, Governor of Anambra State, Lucky Aiyedatiwa of Ondo State, Demola Adeleke of Osun State. Uh, they were all in attendance at the 22nd edition of the National Sports Festival. And I would say that for Dakwa Abiodun, it would be that's a happy man that all of these people could come to his state and experience that the great experience and also the unity in which sports are imbibing every one of us.
Mm. Okay. So I get the picture. When you have the video, you have Asha, and you have Governor of Osun State there. I sure bet that that man also will be dancing at the point in time. So it makes it
Of
quite
course, the
colorful.
dancing governor.
Mm, dancing governor. All right, so Sam is something new about this year's National Sports Festival. We said 36 states and the FCT. Tell us what's popping in terms of what is new in terms of the athletes coming in. 36 state FCT. I learned, I had, I also saw there's a new addition. Tell us about that.
Yesterday it came to mind while having that conversation with Bukola Olakwade, that's the Director General of the National Sports Commission, where he said that we would have 38 states. And then you ask 38 states. In Nigeria, how many states do we have? But in the 38 states is talking about in the sports realm is the IJA. That's when you talk about IJA, IJA. That's the abbreviation for it. And it is just about the invited junior athletes. Invited junior athletes. I lay emphasis on that. This is for athletes below the age of 18, 18 and below. And they were the one who participated or who are going to be participating in this that's a competition under this flagship of IJA. And then it is dubbed the 38 states, and the festival they have over 100 teenage athletes, and they are selected from over 100 athletes from across different parts of the country. And that's just because they want them to compete in more established counterparts against more established counterparts in 9 sports.
Mm.
Why is this so? Because they've gone through the age ranks as well, and you know that for all of these athletes, they might not even have that quality to be there, but this is just a platform for them to also showcase themselves. For example, the Niger Flamingos, they fall under this category because I saw them in the match past also. They were there. And the sports they are also going to be participating in. We have athletics, badminton, para-athletics, swimming, table tennis, wrestling, and weightlifting. But then, this is just a good initiative where it is for them to foster and also develop these athletes into the greater one in which they need to be that in the future. But just like Dr. Abiodun said yesterday, the governor of Ogun State, gateway to greatness. That's why everyone is present. That's in Ogun State.
All right. I also listened to that interview by Bukolo Lakbade. Some of us call him Ozogula, where he spoke about having these young ones being part of this sports festival. So, Samis, Delta State, I love them. Don't ask me why.
Defending champions.
Yeah. I know they will be there with the numbers. They want to come defend from the south and the southwest.
With their numbers, they came with their trophy. Just the parade for them to show everyone that they are the defending champions.
They carry last. They carry last, Samis.
They carry last. But definitely, I will tell you to watch out for Ogun State as well, because you look at the number of stars. Not contingent that was being presented by these states, and you see that Ogun State, you look out for them. Lagos State, you look out for them. You ask me, I'm not talking about Oyo State, but surely you have to look out for Oyo State. Like I said, we won medals for ourselves yesterday as well. Fantastic. And the man who won the medal was that's Toby Ishola, who won in the weightlifting category 55 kg. But back to that Delta State, well, they are doing so well, the defending champion, and then we just want to see what this competition would have to offer all the contingents. Over 10,000 athletes are in Ogun State, and that they are competing just for one cause: bring pride to their state.
Well, enough of that, Samis. Let me allow you to take a little bit of rest. You got to see a few things before we have you back. All right, so Samis, thank you so much. Our man Samis Ogunde, all the way from Abeokuta. Yes, the games will be spread across some other cities in Ogun State, and surely we'll try as much as we can to bring you more updates from that. Samis, it's a pleasure having you. Thank you so much for your time.
The pleasure is mine.
All right, so let's move on the show. Let's head straight to London. The BBC were done with. Okay, I had that. I have to move on without the BBC this morning. So let me share more thought before we wrap up the show in the next few minutes. So as I spoke about winners earlier, and Sammy's also got us in terms of what's happening in Ogun State, the Gateway State. All right, so let me talk about more. For Galatasaray of Turkey, it was about Victor Osimhen. He scored yesterday. His team won the Turkish Liga. But the interesting thing is that his daughter was told, you know what, you got to say something to Papa. And that, she said, was that, when they score in countries, league like the Italian league, the Turkish league, there's a way they go about announcing the name of the scorer. So there's a stadium announcer that will come up with the first name, and then the fans will give the second name. Yesterday, the daughter of Victor Osimhen was told to give the first name of his dad, and he did that brilliantly well. So that was for Papa. So Galatasaray, they've got their man. But will they have him again in the coming season? That's a big question. The fans want him to stay. I've seen pictures and videos how they chase him, telling him they want him to remain in Istanbul. Hey, it's down to Victor and his agent, PSV Eindhoven. They won the league on the last day, won their game away from home in Rotterdam by 3-1. Ajax also won in Amsterdam, beating their opponent by 2-0, but that wasn't enough because for PSV Eindhoven, they retained the title in the Dutch Eredivisie. All right, so Sporting Lisbon also got their job done. We spoke about this, them and Benfica going to the last game. It was the side from Lisboa who won that one, 2-0. Victor Gyökeres scored one of the goals. He's also looking at winning the European top scorer, but that will be down to what Kylian Mbappe does in the coming days when they'll be playing the last game. Kylian Mbappe is on 58 in terms of the point coefficient, and for the Swedes on 58.5. If you understand what I'm saying, good. But if you don't, maybe when we come in the afternoon, I'll share more light about that. So there you have it in terms of those league. But in terms of the Italian league, we're not done with that because Inter Milan thought they were going to get a win, and they were on the verge of making that happen last night in Milan against Lazio. That game ended 2-2 because Lazio were given a penalty. The referee go check the VAR, and for me, that was the penalty. And Pedro was on hand to level scores for Lazio to make it 2-2. On the other hand, in Parma goalless against Napoli, and so this will go down to the last day. And it's in the hands now of Napoli Football Club to just get a win in Naples, and then they will be champion. For Inter Milan, they'll be hoping that doesn't happen. They want to win and, of course, go win the UEFA Champions League on the 31st of May. Carlos Alcaraz, congratulations to you. You won over the weekend in Rome, telling the man called Yannick Sinner, you can't go on going on beating. Somebody has to make that happen. He did make it happen, beating the world number 1 in 2 straight sets, 7-6, 6-1 to win this year's Rome Masters. Earlier, over the weekend, it was Jasmine Paoli, who won in the WTA version. So we're counting down with a few more days to go to the second Grand Slam of the year that will be on clay, Roland Garros. I am Peter Omo. I think I've tried this morning, 13, 14 minutes, all the headlines. We'll come again in the afternoon. We'll spread it. We'll talk more about it, bring you some of the interesting news, and, of course, more updates from this year's National Sport Festival. And coming up on the hour,